So I just want to welcome you, and what we are doing is we are here to downsize our elections. And I'm Jennifer Sullivan. I'm from the Florida Green Party, and Josh Pritchett and I have gone so far. Thank you. We've gone to 9 Congress members so far, and we intend to see we have 27 for our state of Florida. And we've seen both senators today, or well, actually one yesterday, one today, and the rest have been like House members, and we've got plenty to go, but we're determined to see every one of them. And we will fill everyone in on our Facebook page in the future, and what we all accomplished, how many people we talked to, and how many people we feel like we've reached, and so on. So this is an issue that crosses all party lines. It's not just a Green Party issue. It's corporate-driven legislation affects everyone. It affects progressives, it affects Republicans, Democrats, any party that you're in, even if you're not in a party. Human beings tend to move in this. I'm going to get a little bit of little words of Buddha here. But human beings tend to move in the direction of their thoughts. If they harbor greedy thoughts, they become greedy. If they think angry thoughts, they become angry. If they think foolish thoughts, their feet move in that direction. But without intervention of another force, things do get worse. They move in that direction. If we wonder why people who have billions never feel like they have enough, they can't stop. They are never feeling full. This does not mean that directions can't change. Often, it's just at the point where something reaches the most outrageous is when the signals change. This is our movement. When the Supreme Court's ruling in January put sky's the limit on our elections, people, at least the ones who do the voting, by mass majority, said this is the outrageous point. It's been bad. It's been tending in that direction. But this is the turning point. Some in Congress have seen this, and they have been dropping out like flies. I'm sure you've noticed that they fear the backlash towards incumbents. Make no mistake, this election will be bad for incumbents. Because of this rather blind anger by those who vote, good incumbents will suffer. And we have no guarantee that their replacements will be any better. They could be way worse. Most issues that we care about have been influenced by corporate-driven legislation. We are fighting little battles, putting out a little house fire here with the local issue, dousing the forest fire of obscuring true health care rights, or the forest fire of non-stop war funding by our tax dollars. Meanwhile, corporations, wealthy elites, are sitting there with the matches, their dollars, and they're throwing this influence of flames that influences the outcomes to their preferences. This puts our government at a standstill, where they squabble over unimportant details, confuse issues, or at best, come up with half measures. It's about pushing agendas on the people. And here, the people are going to push back. What the Green Party of Florida has started this week isn't new, but it's now. Many have lobbied for their purpose, as it is their First Amendment right to do, to petition our government. But now we say that some PACs and multinational corporations are unable to say, we will say enough. We don't want some money out of, or a little money out of the elections, or a percent. We want money out of our elections, 100%. Half measures leave room for loopholes. We await a member of Congress to have the courage to realize it was never written into any laws that we have donations, but it can be written into our laws that we cannot have donations from anywhere. Statistics say the average congressional person in his office spends 2 to 3 days every week soliciting donations for their campaign. The legislative aides that we have met, they say that they've never done that because in their office, they can't legally do this. But off the clock, it's fair game, and they all admit they choose to spend their vacation time getting donations, their lunch hours getting donations, after hours getting donations. I stuck my head into Barney Frank's office to invite his staff, and there he was. And so I said, well, I invited him, but he said he couldn't because he was going to a fundraiser tonight. So it was a fundraising event I don't know if it was for him or for a friend, but there we have it. What we propose is this: full disclosure on free speech ads, corporations, PAC fund name, the individual name, their contact info, not some word, minusculely printed on the back. Bold statements of their mission statement to where people will know exactly who they were, what they stand for, and how to contact them. So then they write their opinion, just like editorials. And everyone can differentiate the editorials and opinion. If they want to make a mailer or a smear campaign to someone, that goes out as an opinion piece. And they have to answer for the fact with a return address, otherwise it would be against the law. That's one proposal. Because we don't want to limit anyone's free speech right to have an opinion, but we want to differentiate between candidates that are running with clean elections and running with public funding only. And so there would be a public only seal of approval on those ads that would have all the candidates, that would have their picture that they choose, like say it's on cap and trade, what that would be their picture, what they say about cap and trade right next to the next candidate. The same thing for each candidate and more candidates. And allow them all. I mean, Republicans and Democrats may win most of the time anyway because people are in such a habit, but the thing is that we get an opportunity to get all the voices out there fairly, and there's no guarantee that what people will choose, but we need to give people that choice. And so that's the trick, to see if the parties that are entrenched right now, the twin powers, actually want to give that up. But that's probably the hard part. But what it would do is that we would have no donations to any candidates from any source, not unions, not PACs, not NGOs, not corporations or individuals. 100% public funding for all candidates. A public funding seal of approval on all ads. And if voters don't see this public funding seal of approval, they should be suspect of the opinions or the propaganda that they're seeing. And then we shorten the election cycle to 6 weeks, maybe 3 months tops, and this saves a lot of cost too. And taking a tiny sliver of the Pentagon's budget, some of what the Pentagon has not been able to account for would be enough. If you look into a lot of what's going on in Iraq, but it's a paradigm change. There'll be no worries of being outspent by any opponent because that would be against the law. There have been morality issues looming over the elections in the past. Terry Schiavo, the right to choose the end of life, abortion morality of free marriage. Here's the morality issue of the 2010 election. We call it money morality.